Mr Speaker, I'd also like to pay my condolences to the family of New Zealand Army Lieutenant Tim O'Donnell. Mr Speaker, this country is becoming more and more economically insecure, and what's the government doing? Nothing. Nothing but making New Zealanders' lives harder and making them more afraid. Mr Speaker, I'd like to talk about people, real people, and how they're feeling. Over the last few weeks, I've been door-knocking in South Dunedin, one of the poorest and most densely populated parts of our country, and I'm pretty angry about what I'm hearing. People are insecure, and they're afraid. They either have jobs that aren't paying much and they haven't had a pay rise for a long time, or they don't have jobs and they can't find jobs. They can't make ends meet, they're not turning their heaters on. I've talked to countless elderly people who have either lost or are confronting losing their hour and a half per week of home help, doing a bit of housework, preparing some meals, helping with some chores around the house. It's actually not a great deal, but it's making a lot of difference to them. And doing work that they can no longer do, allowing them to stay in their homes. God help us that those elderly citizens who have contributed to our country, paid taxes, went through the Great Depression, many of them, brought us all up, and now they get treated like this at the end of their lives. Helping people stay in their homes and lead a life with value is actually more cost effective than taking away their independence and requiring them to be put in a home. And it's actually, it doesn't take much brains to realise that. This government has got no vision, no plan to improve the lives of ordinary New Zealanders, and this government is deliberately chipping away at the assistance to people, vulnerable people, who need it the most. I want to tell you about Marie, who's a single mum, who's contacted me and has told me that she had her heart set on gaining a bachelor's degree in health science to get a nursing degree, because she believes that with the shortage of qualified nurses, she thought she'd be guaranteed a job. But she's got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, so childcare is a major barrier to gain this qualification and a barrier for her to get back into work. She can't work weekends because of the lack of childcare. Public holidays are a problem also, and on top of this, she has to deal with rising childcare prices and a serious lack of job vacancies. She says she knows she'll get there eventually, but there are so many obstacles, and she says, yet here is National planning to punish us if we don't find work, label us as breeding for business, calling us unemployable, and has generated maddened groups of benefit bashers. And I tell you what, she doesn't have the ability to go to Australia like so many others. She's stuck here with no brighter future. And then there's the latest example, the fight to keep neurosurgical services in Dunedin. The absence of those services are going to be of great detriment to the people of Otago, and I want to state the obvious. Dunedin should not lose neurosurgical services. People will die, families would suffer, and our hospital and our medical school would both be put at risk. And all the while, the Minister, Tony Ryle, is sitting on his hands doing nothing. And it's clear that this government has no vision and no plan. And what's the cost? Recently, one family said to me, we can't afford to eat meat. We used to be able to. A lot of families say they don't know what they'll do when the GST goes up. Any gain from tax cuts will be taken away by GST and the predicted 6% in inflation. And my colleague Carmel Sepuloni's bill is coming before this House today, which seeks to overturn National's attack on workers' rights. Labor's going to show their commitment to the rights of workers by voting for this bill, and I encourage any National MP who cares about his or her constituents and their livelihoods to do the same. So instead of attacking people's rights and chipping away at assistance to people who need it the most, we need policies that address inequality and help Kiwis stay afloat. And we need some fresh ideas to put more money in the pockets of people. We need honesty and vision, not distractions and sideshows from a do-nothing government. We need a vision and we need a plan.
The time for this debate has expired. Call on Members' Order of the Day number 1.